Like Kelly called or asked me to make him a longboard once, and I wasn't into that because I kind of could imagine what Kelly might ride a longboard like, you know? It's always been the balance between speed and control, and I think a lot of people have proven that they can handle less control nowadays. And the Lord board.
The piece of 5, is that what's called the Lord board?
Yeah, that's the Lord board. Yeah, if it was on an XY axis, it would be definitely this being control and this being speed. It'd be way up here with the speed, and there'd be 0 control on that board for sure. That goes, it's just the simplest form of planing. Like, that's a very out of control surfboard, but once you're able to figure out what it does, you can control it, and you're kind of the ultimate puppet master. You don't do a lot of like thrusting or anything like that against it. You're just trying to keep it in the water, so all your body positions are trying to hold the board, it just even in trim and get down the line. If you're able to control that, it looks really shocking. Like, you just, from the beach, you just watch someone just traversing sections that normally, you know, someone would be having to hop up and down to even cover it. Pushing the envelope on a board that might not be designed for that wave, but they're so good at handling it that they can do it. And like Craig on his little 5.4 boards, like, it's just amazing that he can stay on the board in that sort of situation. And I think that's what excites me. Oh, just the fact of seeing that, like, him in that complete focus just to try to keep the thing going down the line. It's almost like the equivalent of riding a finless board on a 10-foot wave or something. It looked like the thing was just freaking skipping, and the wave was just regurgitating the shape of that board. And that's maybe why it wasn't like tubed super deep in the barrel, but it must have felt insane to be on a wave like that and be pulling it the way he was. Like, I love the end of the clip of him on that huge one where he's kind of hitting the chattery part. You could see his face changing, and he's just like still holding such nice composure. But you know, that moment for anyone else, the wheels would have fallen off for sure. Be way better than, you know, the gnarly dude who was out there like bullying all the set waves. You'd like kind of write that guy off. Surfing here at home in California, I grew up riding thrusters and did that every day, and that wears out after a little while. So a result would be jumping on something like a finless board, and the same wave that you've surfed all your life and you're a bit jaded on and, you know, only want to surf on the really good days, now all of a sudden is super entertaining even on the off days. And I think that's a result for sure. Happiness is a result. That's what we're after. I mean, I think foiling seems like it would kind of be in the same realm. I don't know, you gotta save something for when you're older, maybe. Maybe I'll do it when I'm like 50. A lot of people tripped out, and a lot of people were like, wow, I can't believe you can ride those boards in those waves. But for me, I was just really stoked to kind of try to do the fish justice, because I've always known it's like a good wave board and a step up, because you need like a bit of length on the face of the wave to really be able to open it up and let it go like towards the flats and back up the wave. And it can really do some cool things vertically as well, like the speed it has down the line in a little tiny shitty wave that people get all psyched on also applies to like its ability to store speed, and you can go up and down the wave with tons of speed and really free, effortless sort of cruisy style. And I think that was just nice to have it all come together and get the waves on a trip when you made the board there. And like, I don't know, it's just a lucky moment. It was one of those things where the stars aligned. thing I noticed the most is I just got a shitload of orders for rainbow colored fishes. Usually I charge the guys who I really want to watch ride my boards, just the cost of the materials, because I'm happy to build it for them. I don't know how much they're gonna actually ride it the way I want them to ride it, you know? They might just like grab it and go, oh, that was trippy, glad I got one of those, and it's like their wall hanger board that they got for $400. I'm like, Kelly called or asked me to make him a longboard once, and I wasn't into that either, because I kind of could imagine what Kelly might ride a longboard like, you know? But if he had asked me to make him an asymmetrical, I would have dropped everything I was doing and fucking made the board. Making the board for the electric acid test, I was tipped off that it was actually Dane, so that's what put me over the edge. I didn't have a lot of time before the deadline of it, and they were trying to do the trip really quickly, and I was kind of almost like, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. To me, I get on those boards and ride them to the best of my ability to do shortboard surfing, pretty much. Up, down, freaking whip slash, beam bum boom, sort of shit. And for Dane to, you know, be on one of those, I think like that's the board that's suiting for him. It took me a long time to even surf him well and get him dialed in good enough to surf in good waves. So once the footage of me at Deserts and G-Land came out, just like cruising along, riding them, getting a couple little barrels, people were instantly like, wow, they're so good for that free, easy surfing, and they look like they can turn harder. And then I met Bryce Young at the same time, and he just like took it from that point and then put his natural ability into it, and was just like, from the second I started making him boards, he was pushing them as hard as possible, whereas I was riding a wave and just kind of listening to the board. And I wouldn't, once I got really used to a board, then I can start powering on it. But until I was totally comfortable with it, I was kind of just cruising along and standing there and waiting for the feedback, waiting to actually trust it myself. Whereas people I met were like, fuck, it works for you, I'm going from there, sort of thing. And then I heard it was Dane, and I kind of dropped everything to make sure I got a board to him. He was actually going to get to feel, hopefully, what I was so excited about with that design. And I really liked the way he surfed it. I liked seeing that his approach, like how he just kind of manhandles the shit out of things, worked with that board, because so much with the twin fin boards is you have to have the rail set before you push against them, but then you can kind of push as hard as you want. And I was hoping that he'd figure that out, because that's kind of the difference between those and a thruster. Is thrusters, you kind of just push the board down and anchor it, and then you could get really critical with stuff. And I think that's what he does so amazingly. And it was cool that he was able to push and do his just radical, overpowered, crazy frickin' turns on it, and it seemed like it worked pretty well.